can't start this show now because of you, because I just hear, how'd you like to get a dick on Fuckboy Island? That needs to be the theme song. Y'all, we talked about it. If we're ever going to be together and do a season 2, we got to do that as the theme song. We just have to.
Y'all, this is FBOY Island. How'd you like to spend a bang trip on FBOY Island? How'd you like to spend a bang trip on FBOY Island? Y'all, this is episode 2. I did not write down the episode name.
Oh, I can tell you. I can tell you, Queen. It's called You've Got Mail.
You've Got Mail. I remember
Mail.
Now. M-A-L-E.
Boy, y'all, I know we've said this, but I don't know where they plucked these men from, but
they're very hot.
Like that one point, not Surf Jesus, but he reminds me of the curly-headed guy who seems like
Adam?
the guy who moves fridges.
Yeah. F-boy. I'm a fridge boy.
He's talking about another guy, and he's talking about I understand why she likes him. Look at his body. I can't compete with that. And I went, you have an 8-pack.
Yeah. I think what's different, though, about these men is they don't feel like bachelor cookie cutter or bachelorette cookie cutter guys.
No, agreed.
There's not a print modeling look to a lot of them.
Yeah,
they have.
Agreed.
I think that's what it is. They don't look like JCPenney catalog ish.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's
dating myself.
That's very dated and
but
very
I'm saying,
specific because I have masturbated to the underwear section of the JCPenney catalog.
Isn't it dead on? Because bachelorette men look like JCPenney catalog boys.
That is one of the most accurate descriptions you've ever said on this show.
But they do, and none of these boys, men, guys, F-boys,
nice guys.
None of them really look that way. They're all handsome, but I think the casting is great.
Oh, so do
I. It's the opposite of kind of neutered, normal kind of like hiring hot guys.
Yes. And speaking of y'all, just to tease, we might be having some of them on the podcast. We
have not even put offers out, so please don't tease something.
Cameron needs to be on our show. He is so hot. And did you notice?
His personality is like white rice, though.
But did you see that he's a real estate man and an exotic dancer?
Yes, I like that slash. It compares with retired hostess.
Oh, yeah, we're not going to see her anymore.
No, never again. Bye, Bree. We will never cover you again.
Her husband
Her
husband messed that up. Okay, y'all. So this is part 2. We're going to jump into it.
Episode 2.
I just want to say real quick, y'all, I have moved things. We're remote, but goat. I am now, I'm in Nashville.
Hovering somewhere over the U.S.
Yes.
In a dirigible. We could say that word more. Dirigible.
Is that one of those like balloon things that you pedal on a bike?
I think it's the same thing as a Zeppelin or a blimp.
Not familiar. Or a blimp. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, what I've learned about, I'm over kind of by Vanderbilt, beautiful part of Nashville, but I've learned, I think
because this week you're at Podcast Movement.
I'm at Podcast Movement. Yes, I'm at Podcast Movement. I'm working at Podcast Movement, and so
we don't want everything. You're just COVID partying.
Yeah, I'm not. But there are bachelorette parties just going by frequently in bus. So if y'all hear woo-hoo, and maybe a siren, that's what it is. So bear with us.
I can see his cock. Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway.
Why are bachelorette party? Why is Nashville a destination for bachelorette parties? I guess any big city.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. So, y'all, let's go to Nice Guy Grotto, shall we?
No, first it's Limbro. Oh, it is. It starts at Nice Guy Grotto.
It's kind of both. It starts at Nice Guy Grotto. Y'all, Andrew and Garrett we didn't know, you mentioned it, but that we see Nice Guy Grotto for the first time.
Yeah.
and they're Andrew and Garrett are laying out, and they're like, "What do you want for dinner?" "Oh, I don't
God,
know."
so many gay porns that I've started this way.
It's just true. I'll take
Especially
this.
this one. I know what I want for dinner. Your cock.
Your cock, your meaty man meat.
And so they're like, what do you want? Lobster, fish. And then I put this on my Insta story. I taped it. I thought it was a secret scene. And then I'm like, oh no, this is actual footage.
Like you thought you were hallucinating.
Yes. And the guy actually eats the grapes and he's like,
Garrett
"Ugh."
feeds Andrew grapes. And y'all also, I just want to add before I want you to finish what you're saying, but have you noticed their bodies are always oiled up?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, always
The other
oiled up.
guys aren't, but they're oiled up. So yeah, so he feeds the grape and then
So they had to oil one another up, probably. I know. That's hot, folks. Y'all, the whole show has a homoerotic vibe that I generally enjoy.
I do enjoy.
Yeah. I think the show is mostly made for women and gay men and women who like gay men. Which is our market. So
it's our market. Meanwhile, Peter's in limbo trying to open coconuts, and it's hysterical.
He is comical. I know he's an F-boy, but I enjoy him. He's about to go Castaway.
Yeah, he is about. He's dressed all like kind of Indiana Jones chic, but shirtless.
Yeah.
And so Nikki walks in, and she's like, "Hello, Peter." And she's like, "Welcome to Limbro." Where y'all, the branding for this show is on point.
Yeah, they don't let anything go. They don't let anything go. The only thing I said, the only problem was instead of F-boy, it needs to be F-off. F-boy, F-off.
I know.
I know why they did it. They probably can't say it.
They probably can't say it. And also, I think knowing Nikki Glaser, I think she wanted to make a ridiculous goodbye because all these dating reality shows have to have this kind of ridiculous, stupid way of saying goodbye to someone. And I think she was like, what sounds just stupid? F-bye. That makes no sense.
You're right. She does deliver it very seriously. Yeah, I think you're right.
Good.
So she tells Peter, like, so you can this is here your time to work on yourself. She's like, you know what? That's not true. You can work on yourself if you want. It doesn't really affect me in any way. So, and there he's like, so you can go back to playing with yourself. And she leaves him, and the girls are discussing the eliminations that they just had.
Yes.
And the ones that they will have. And they're talking
Sarah's
about,
like, I'm gonna sniff out all the F-boys. I'm like, oh honey, I don't think you are.
Who?
Sarah. She's like, my strategy. Yeah.
I think the only one who knows who has a good F-boy button is CJ. Nakia and Sarah are just babes in the woods.
They are dickmatized babes in the woods, and I think CJ is the smartest person on this show.
She is. And Chris is talking with the boys. Or Charlie, the French trainer, is like, I look like an F-boy, but I am not. I'm actually a nice guy. And Chris is talking to them, I like CJ's cold-blooded. She's got fangs. He's a douchebag, and I would beg for it.
He's very hot.
Terrible taste in men.
He's very hot, and he's to me he's a more obvious fuckboy to me than Garrett.
Yeah, he's a huge fuckboy. I'm surprised he hasn't said it yet.
Me too. But what's and so we're going to see how the interesting thing about that. So, the girls are talking, and CJ is like saying, you thought Colin was a nice guy, but she says Colin looks like a guy that has two phones. And then Nakia said, but I have two phones. And then I went, and here we are.
Y'all, Nakia's the one who I think is the most lost. I think she is. She gets caught up. Boy, she has a type, and that type is fuckboys. And
Yeah.
I think Nakia really needs to reevaluate what she's looking for. I wish that was part of. I wish the girls. Not that I'm saying the girls need to be reformed, but almost like Too Hot to Handle, they take the girls through workshops. Maybe they will. This is only episode 2, but Nakia needs a workshop about what she's looking for in a guy.
Yeah, because we see Sarah actually kind of trying to change her instincts. She even talks about that. Nakia's not.
No.
So, but they're like, we're gonna get those F-boys out of here. And so the guys are talking, and meanwhile, Divij is Divij is saying how, you know,
Division, that's how I remember it. Division.
Oh, thank you. He says, you know, like, CJ, she is cutthroat. She's cold-blooded. And Chris is like, yeah, that's why I like her. And he said, so this comes back later. He did say that she can't read a book, right?
No, he did not say she cannot read, which is what Chris said. It's kind of like when people say, it's not that I can't read, I choose not to read.
Oh, okay.
Very different. Very, very two different things.
It's not that Poodle and I can't go down on women. We choose not to.
No, I don't think we can.
I don't think we can.
No. So,
but not that it's a bad thing. It's a wonderful, beautiful thing.
No. It's just not for us.
Yeah.
I want to say they're talking about this. He basically says that he did say that she's kind of high maintenance, blah blah blah.
He did say she's high maintenance.
He said he doesn't think she's the kind of woman who reads a lot of books. He did say that. He did not say that she can't read. However, it is a low blow for Chris to narc on him in that way. Talk about breaking bro code. Wow.
I mean, that's the second time now. When it's going to come out, y'all. It's going to come out. So then I love that the transitions is that y'all, again, I haven't watched a ton, but I've watched enough. If you haven't watched any of these Bachelor, Too Hot to Handle shows, y'all, they're making fun of all those shows.
Oh yeah, it's very much tongue in cheek.
Instead of much having like the transitions normally, like on Too Hot to Handle, they're always like hot, laying in the sand, looking sexy. It has
these are kind of dumb jokes,
doing their muscles and crushing eggs. Like, I want to talk to. I wish the creators gave us the time of day. I would totally interview them.
There's a lot of humor in this.
Yeah, I love it,
and I think using that, like, it doesn't necessarily. Number one, it does lower the stakes a little bit, but it makes the show a lot more fun, and makes it bearable, and takes
it palatable.
The starch out of these people a little bit more.
Yeah, exactly.
So Nikki is talking to the boys. They're like, a moment of silence for the boys that we have lost. It's like, I said a moment of silence because they won't shut up, of course. And y'all, can you help me here with what they said? They're playing dodgeball with water balloons, but it's 3-way. So it's 3 teams.
It's 3 teams of dodgeball and not 2.
So how do you know what are the rules? Does one team just attack the other 2 with water balloons?
Yeah, everybody's attacking. And I think that's what Nikki, when she said this is very confusing, and they're just basically throwing shit at everyone.
And I just need to point out that this is not dodgeball. This is just a water balloon fight.
Yeah.
This has nothing to do with a ball that bounces.
But dodgeball is popular right now.
Sorry, you're right. I'm just like, this is just a big water balloon fight. I don't know why we got on teams. I was just.
They should have got on strange. One team gets beaten, the other one has to do
but how do they and I didn't even know who won. I was just
you know what? This doesn't matter. The semantics of this doesn't matter, Poodle.
I know. I just needed to know who. So all the women are picking the brawniest guys.
Yes.
The brawniest guys go first, of course. Y'all, this is worse than gym class, what they are doing to these men.
It's true. Sarah picks her MVP is Jared. Did you know, y'all, Jared, that's the one that
with the big muscles.
Fridge guy was like, he is fucking ripped. But did you notice when he went and accepted his MVP, y'all, his dick was just bulging out of his crotch.
I honestly was writing a lot, so I did.
You know what?
Listening the
do
visuals.
the work.
I'll need to go back and look.
But he has just those shorts, that ride up, y'all. He got a big dick.
It is substantial. I agree with you.
And it's thick. It's kind of thick like the General Sherman tree up in Big Bear. It's just so wide. So wide you could drive a car through it.
The dick? I'm confused.
It was a General Sherman joke because the red.
Oh, okay.
You know what?
No, the General Sherman joke is burning Atlanta.
No. The tree's called General Sherman.
Wow, I took that to a different place.
You did.
But I guess the tree's named after General Sherman, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Anyway, who cares? Who gives a shit? So they win. Then there's more stuff like the MVPs win the golden conch. I will say they did play the Lakme aria during the fight, which we have performed on occasions. We can't do that because it's never going to sync up.
It's not syncing up. I'm in a hotel room. Someone's going to wonder I can't do the high note anyway.
No. I have a hard time singing when we're not together. It's just too hard with the syncing up.
Poor you. I know. It's
all right. So Jared...
DJ chooses Sean.
Okay. Like Lacey from Love Him Look Sean. He pronounces it as Sean with like a CH, with a soft CH, but not Sean.
And Nakia chooses Greg.
Greg with the beard.
With that huge beard. Y'all, they all go on dates that night.
She is such a sucker. It is so obvious that Greg is the biggest fuckboy of them all.
So obvious.
With the way he brushes that beard.
Y'all, he's a fuckboy. And so, but they're talking. She's like, are you a romantic? How do you find love? And he says he wants romance, but he wants someone to be goofy, but he wants someone to be serious, but not too serious. And he wants this.
These are all red flags when you're telling them what you think they want to hear, which is exactly what he's doing.
And then Nakia says, I think we have a lot in common.
No, I just about said, honey.
Yeah. And then, y'all, he says he used to be a club promoter.
And the thing goes,
fuckboy alert.
Y'all,
fuckboy
that is the truth. All club promoters are fuckboys. If you're dating a club promoter right now, he is dating 4 other women.
And he's fucking all of them and bringing something back to you.
Yes. I hope that you're not in a serious relationship with one. Serious, y'all.
Carl,
there's no way Carl is a club promoter.
We need to talk. That's true. Carl's not a club promoter.
She's probably asked what a club promoter was. Was it someone who's into golf?
Yeah, y'all don't exactly. Or actually, no, the club that you put on the car.
Yeah,
that's what you think. But y'all, if you think, don't be a Carl's wife. Don't settle down with a club promoter.
No, it's not possible. And then they'll make you really unhappy.
And then beautifully done after that, the editing team went back and found clips of Sarah and CJ dragging guys that are club promoters.
They're like, oh yeah, club promoters? No. That's never going to work.
Even Sarah's like, yeah, club promoter, never going to happen.
Always an F-boy.
I died.
Yeah, you show me a man who's a club promoter who's got a wife and kids, and I'll show you his second family in another city.
In another city.
God, I love Lifetime movies. But when the woman finds out, oh, second family. Those used to be my favorite.
Those were good.
They're very disturbing. But I'll think about how much work would be required to have a second family.
Well, I told you my dad's dad, they have a whole family in Georgia. He had 17 brothers and sisters, Grandpa Marr.
Right, but did he spend enough time? Did he split his time in between?
We don't know. My dad doesn't want to talk to any of them.
Did he talk about his dad being gone?
I mean, he never talked to them. I think Aunt Darla might have talked to some, or Aunt Peggy might have talked to some of them. Aunt Darla said she's not talking to anybody that came from trash.
Glad that they've worked it out for themselves.
Yeah. So, y'all, Southerners hold a grudge.
Yeah, even for people they'd never met.
Yep.
So the next thing is CJ is talking to Sean, and they found out, or let's talk about Jared. Jared talking to Sarah.
Okay.
And he full on starts out by asking about her love languages. That's not very FBOY. And he says
it would be if everything else he said was FBOY, but it wasn't. So yeah, go ahead.
And he says, she said, do you want the white picket fence? And he's honest enough because of FBOY would say, oh yeah, totally into all that. Can't wait. And she's like, oh my God, I do too. But he said, yeah, I don't think that's it for me right now. So honesty, you guys, honesty is oftentimes, especially honesty that doesn't feel like they're throwing you out or honesty bombing you, like Garrett, who says, yeah, I was adopted from Russia and my sister's deaf. That's honesty and vulnerability bombing. That's what people do. You recognize that if a fuckboy is saying, yeah, I was adopted single mom. Peter did that already. Y'all, this is a fuckboy trait.
Yeah.
They're going to vulnerability bomb you. Because they're like, he shared that with me, which Nakia, we already see. That's like a thing for her.
But there is something about Jared. I get a vibe. I get a energy from him. There's just something where I'm like, I don't trust his intentions.
I'm not sold on him either. So CJ is talking to Sean. He was a Chippendale. And she's like, oh, so you love when people objectify you're objectified. And he's like, no, people objectify me. Very different. He was married for 2.5 years. And we find out, y'all, which is why we feel comfortable, CJ has 2 dads.
That's, y'all.
The sequel to Heather has 2 mommies.
Yes. She says I have 2, and I wrote, shut up. I love you. This is why.
CJ, come on the show. I will ask you to come on the show.
That's why I think that's why she has this perspective, I think, of kind of being really like sex positive and really like I think she has vulnerabilities, but in the same way, I kind of think CJ just might be super confident about guys because maybe she was raised by 2 gay dads who just kind of like, I mean, imagine the shit I could tell my daughter of how she could read men to filth. Imagine what you could tell your daughter about dating.
Oh, I would totally Miss Havisham my daughter. I would totally say, men will only just sitting there in my white wedding dress, waiting for the next thing to happen, covering all the windows.
And if your daughter was that gorgeous, you would teach her to destroy men.
Yes, that's exactly what happened in Great Expectations. Miss Havisham taught Estella to destroy men.
So
you never read the book, did you?
Halfway through, I got bored. I switched to the narrative of the picture book of Pete's Dragon. Way better.
It's a phenomenal novel, though. Yeah. I've always felt a lot in common with Miss Havisham.
I just think, how we originally talked about, I think there's some CJ doesn't like to be vulnerable, and maybe that's being raised by, this sounds stereotypical, but a lot of times men can have more problems with emotions. Maybe.
No, that is proven.
That is
it's not stereotypical. It's pretty proven.
So maybe that's it for her, but still, I'm like, I don't know. She seems pretty brazen for a good reason. So, I love though when she talks to him. I really like Sean. Like I think he has like a really good energy.
He's a nice guy.
He seems like a nice guy.
Yeah.
I don't think CJ. I think he's too nice for CJ.
Yeah,
I don't think
she needs a little spicy.
She needs someone.
And he's
sorry,
not. She's not
this
spicy.
chair that I'm sitting in is like painted and it's very slippery, and I keep sliding down in it like I'm drunk. Anyway, sorry, y'all.
That is a very poodle thing to do, to complain about the chair you're sitting in.
I enjoy it. It's just slippery when wet.
Who was that? Was that Def Leppard's album, "Slippery When Wet"?
Boy, you're really on an 80s rock kick on that.
No, this is totally like me being Rain Man. What was that from? Wapner. Yeah, today.
Okay, so they have that, and then basically
Sarah talks to
Divish, and she says then he gives me club promoter vibes. She's like,
he's like, I think he does something. Oh, he's like a manager. He's a talent agent. Y'all, they're fuckboys too. All the straight ones are fuckboys.
Every single talent agent and the gay ones too are fuckboys.
Yeah, they're fuckboys. Yeah,
when they're that young, when they get in their 50s, maybe.
Then they just have open relationships.
Exactly. But she
I've heard.
Then they just talk about, and so then CJ ends up talking to Mark. I don't know if Mark is a fuckboy. He has a joke for everything. It's just a lot.
I think he's very much a pose. Everything feels very his persona. I wrote down, I'm not sure Mark is there for the right reasons. I get a vibe from him, and it's not a vibe that says I'm interested in women.
You know what? That's the vibe that I get from who was it that we talked about earlier? The cute guy who oh crap. Who was it?
I don't know.
Oh, I get that from Jared.
Oh, I kind of agree with you.
Now that you said that, I get that from Jared. Oh my God. What if Jared and Mark hook up? Oh my, they would be a beautiful couple.
I will say,
I'm here for that.
I don't necessarily think I don't necessarily think I'm right, but there is a vibe. There's a little bit of a distance that Mark, that kind of like disarming humor thing, and the jokes aren't really funny. And it's a desperate need to project some type of kind of masculine thing, but also being friendly. And so we're gonna talk about him later, y'all. Casey, who's my favorite. Casey's and CJ talk. This is either Casey is a really, really good fuckboy and he's very good at it, or he's a nice guy who is so charming and can't help himself.
I kind of think after this episode, I think he's a good fuckboy.
Yeah, I was gonna say it could be one or the other.
But last episode, I would have told you nice guy, but I think he's a fuckboy.
He comes up to her and says, "What's up? I miss you." Y'all.
And she says, "I'm having to share you." And she's like, "You don't like sharing?" And he said, "Not sharing you." And he talks to her exactly how she likes to be spoken to.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
she's like, "Do you want to?" He's like, "Do you want a tour?" And they have of anyone in the house, they have chemistry. I haven't seen her really have chemistry with anyone yet like him.
Yeah, so they go in and look at his bunk beds, and y'all, it's just although I called it, CJ said, "Oh my God, I love touring houses." Did I not call? She seemed like somebody on Selling Sunset.
Yep.
So she gets, but y'all, this is just a premise. It's a premise for them to sit on a bunk bed and make out.
Well, the funniest thing is both times,
which made CJ Poodle go crazy,
has initiated.
Oh, y'all.
And she sprays her mouth in the confessional, and she grabs him and plants one on him and makes out with him.
Exactly. And she's like, and she she's like, he's nice, he's confident, he's not cocky, and she kisses him and gets red lipstick, and then cut to in the bathroom, she's rubbing red lipstick off him, and she says, "You can't tell a soul, you can't tell anyone," and she just, before he could even respond, she just kind of drops the handkerchief on the floor and walks out of the bathroom, and I said, "This is a poodle move."
Oh, yeah. I've learned a lot by women like that, by watching women like that. It is.
I mean, y'all.
I know exactly her type is my type, so that's why I know
you really are CJ. You really, very much are.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about
that body.
Ooh, she's gorgeous. We're going to talk about what happened the next morning, but y'all, I'm sliding down in my chair. I need to get situated, and we're going to take a commercial, and we'll be right back.
So we're back. We're back.
Yeah.
We're back. Y'all, it's time for exclusive dates. They should find a way to brand this. They've done so good with branding.
Wait, they actually called them exclusive dates?
Yeah. Which means not taking all comers. Not a Friday night for me.
Wow.
So CJ chooses.
They should call this selective seating.
Just a one-off. This is our one-offs. Single dates.
Single dates. Sorry, go ahead.
So CJ goes there and talks to Casey, and she's like, "Where's Mark?" And Casey's like, "What?"
Y'all, and this is a poodle boudreaux move.
This is a strong poodle move.
This
has very big poodle energy.
Yeah, she wants to remind Casey that
he's a number. He's a
number. She has the power.
Yep.
And that, because what happened is she let him know that she liked him, and she has to remind him that she doesn't like him that much.
Yeah, it's like when someone says, "Remember when we're like dating?" And I went, "Are we?"
Wow.
That's a move. Now, most of the time when people go out with me twice, they'll say something like, "Well, yeah, we're like dating." I was like, "No one told me." What?
Y'all,
just to kind of put them a little off their footing.
The man that marries Poodle has a special place in heaven.
He's gonna have a lot. He's gonna have a lot of work cut out for him. Okay, think how much he's gonna get. Think how much he's gonna get.
Yeah, it's gonna be hell on earth, but a special place in heaven.
Oh yes. So she's like, "Where's Mark?" And I feel like this is a treading water choice. She knows she wants to ask Casey for this second date. So she asks resident Hitler youth, Mark.
Yes. Well, what we're finding out with CJ this episode, CJ's playing, she's playing a game.
She is. She's playing a good game.
And maybe she wants to look for love. Maybe she doesn't. I think almost just as much as CJ wanted to find love, I think CJ wants to find a good game.
Yeah, and I think she's trying to figure out. I think she also is trying to be good TV. Yeah. They're going to. She and Mark are going to go, and he's like, "Oh, I better go pick out my tux or my 3-piece suit or maybe my 1-piece suit. Yeah. Can I wear one of your 1-piece suits? Possibly a 2-piece suit. I don't know. What should happen next?"
Shut up.
Y'all, if you've ever been on a date with this person not only jokes are different, one-liners are different, but who has a little play on words for everything and then corrects themselves and then makes it worse. This is intolerable. And I think she thinks it's funny in the beginning. It's not.
I think she thought that he would calm down. But y'all, they go on the date to look at blowholes, which he can't stop talking about.
Before they do go, CJ sits down with the gentleman and says, "So who's peacocking the most? I want to see your peacock." And of course,
although
who chimes in?
That Katy Perry song, she's talking about your dick, y'all.
Yeah, she's talking about dick.
Your cock.
And of course, Chris the narc, chimes in and says, just throwing him under the bus, well, because he knows Casey is his biggest competition.
Yes.
The same thing with Colin. The same exact thing. Yep. It's like, well, Colin's been saying he's been peacocking and blah, blah, blah. And even fuckboy Garrett has an ethical problem. It's like, I'm not going to say anything. He's my boy. Why would they say that? When a fuckboy who has no ethics at all has a problem with this.
POS.
Yeah. And anyway, so that's interesting. The next thing is, Mark, they're going on there, and Sarah chooses Josh, who I don't even know about. I was like, when did I miss you?
I wrote, oh, he's really cute. Don't remember him, but he is really cute.
And so they go on a date.
They're rum tasting.
Yes. Oh, I guess we could talk about. I'm sorry. We should talk about Mark and CJ's date. I'm sorry.
It was that boring, y'all. I want to sum it up.
He makes a lot of sex jokes that don't really go anywhere.
Yes, and and even CJ says he's punching so many jokes. He never shuts up, and I thought he would kind of settle into the date. He does not, y'all, because underneath he really wants to talk about Judy Garland.
I wasn't going to say it.
Well, you said it earlier.
Yeah, but I wasn't going to say it that way.
Anyway, CJ says it's a blot. It's a bit unattractive.
He wants to talk about the new Gossip Girl.
And she says he does. And he's like, it's making me feel like somebody I should be friends with and not on a date. I feel like
he's got gay best friend vibes. That's why.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like he'd be friends with my dads.
Yeah, right. I think he would fit in really well at one of my dad's parties.
Y'all, yes. So that's when we get to Sarah and Josh, and they're rum tasting.
And she's like, I really know he has a deeper side to him. I can just tell. And y'all, Josh is intelligent. Josh is talking about what he does. He's professional, blah, blah, blah. He's like, yeah, I'm not really an big app person. I'm more of an in real life person. And he says,
what made you choose me? What made you choose me?
Great question.
Yes.
And of course, she's not there with a really good answer. And
she's like, yeah.
I think you're really deep. Yeah.
And she's like, I think it's the most genuine connection. I'm like, okay. And so he says, well, I'm not a big app dater. I'm more of an in real life type of person. He's like, I enjoy the serendipity of it all.
And she went, oh, good word.
I will say, did you see that movie, Serendipity?
With Kate Beckinsale? Oh my God. I love Serendipity in New York.
It's my favorite movie. I once listened to a podcast where these two gay guys read it for filth, but they're wrong.
I think I called it a steaming pile of cow dung.
I called it suckindipity. That's what I called it.
So he's very normal. He's too normal for this show, I wrote down.
But Sarah, in a way, this is what kind of flipped. I thought, didn't you think Sarah was going to be like, he's nice, but
he's not dangerous like an FBOY. And she said, he does say he'd like to marry his best friend, and she's ready for a more intense type of relationship. And she's waiting for her to kiss him in that moment. And again, Sarah wants to kind of be the passenger on her journey.
She wants to be whisked away.
Yeah. And someone like CJ would just kiss him. CJ would have just kissed Josh.
Or would have given him. Me. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Sarah's not going to do that.
Right.
And so she's kind of waiting, looking at him. She's biting her lip. He's licking her lips.
Yeah, she's like, she's doing everything but semaphore, trying to send him into home.
Just a call.
Flags here, you land here on my strip.
Yeah. So they go back up, but y'all, I'm going to tell you why she's into him. Because he's really fucking hot.
He's hot, but I don't think he's the hottest guy on the island.
No, but he is pretty hot, and
It's a nice penis. You're right.
A nice dick, y'all.
So should we talk about Nakia and Jared?
Big one. Yes.
Y'all, they're jet skiing, and she says some crack. I couldn't understand it. I rewound it like 3 or 4 times that she like really amused herself at.
She said something like, "I'm gonna ride something else."
Was that it?
Yeah.
I couldn't.
Talk about his dick poodle.
Yeah, I know.
His penis. His pogo stick. His jumping bean. His
wang.
His tostone.
His tostone. His plantain, if you will.
His hot tamale.
So she or I think he says, "How do you feel about our connection?" Again, these are much better. These are second level. If this guy is a fuckboy, this is a second level fuckboy question. It's not like Garrett or Peter, who's like, "Tell me about yourself and let me repeat back everything you say."
Well, and he responds with that, said,
unfortunately,
he said, "I've had an experience of being emotionally working on being emotional. It's hard for me to be emotionally available
because I'm adopted.
Because I was adopted."
I talked about this earlier. That's a vulnerability bomb, y'all. That's a vulnerability bomb.
Information bomb, y'all. Fuckboy all over. And what does Nakia say? It makes me feel
really
so
loved it when
to
he opened up to me.
Y'all, it is so clear to me that he's a fuckboy.
I think you're right. I agree. He's in my F-boy list now.
It's so clear to me that he is. And so Nakia's like, "Well, I was raised by my mom on her own." And Nakia said, "Wait, is there a possibility he could be a nice guy?" Because
no.
And then but this is the same. It's a difference where Sarah's into the nice guy. Y'all, it's whether they're nice or F-boy, they're going to be into a guy if he's really hot and giving off big dick energy, because Nakia says, "I've never seen a nice guy look that good."
So the next thing he's talking about, I could give a fuck about stepping on Colin's toes. So again, that's fuckboy energy too.
That's fuckboy energy too.
And Colin is back there saying, "I can't trust Jared." And I'm like, dude, why are you worried about those guys?
Why?
When you should be worried about the women who haven't even.
Because Colin's
that guy's a dick. Yeah, we shouldn't say it. He's Instagrammed us to come on the show, so
I'd love to talk to him.
But I'm not a fan of his, so we'll see. He won't listen, regardless. It's fine.
Wow.
He won't listen. We haven't said enough about him. A fuckboy only listens to parts that are about them.
Okay.
So y'all, we're back at Nice Guy Grotto, and the nice guys are watching Peter just try to break open a coconut, and he's talking to Wilson the volleyball. And I was saying at one moment I thought that Garrett was going to put his arm around, what's that guy's name? David, Josh,
Andrew.
Thank you. And just go, "Do you want to suck dicks?" That's what it feels like. We're in paradise, bro.
They are so oiled up.
They are very oiled up.
It's just, it gives me a semi. And more guys are going to come to Nice Guy Grotto.
Ooh.
The guys, we get a little bit of it's a little all over the place. The guys are coming back. Anthony's like, "Oh, I think Josh had a good date." And Matt's like, Matt said, "There's this guy, Matt. Didn't know we had a Matt. He's a new guy." All the guys are kind of putting in their main focus. But what's really important is Chris says, "My main focus is CJ." And then Casey said, "Well, why are you talking about me to CJ then?" And Chris says, "What are you talking about? I'm not doing that." And it doesn't really get explained more, because then the ladies show up. And this is at night, and we find out CJ's lost her voice, y'all. That's what
Shocker.
That's what Vocal Fry does, y'all.
Yeah, she needs a little bit of speech pathology work. I can tell you that. She speaks really low in her chords.
Yeah, and you can't talk very long when you do that.
And this is a thing, you guys. People are going to speech language pathologists all the time, because none of us really know how to speak. And the level of short sermon alert, the level of time we spend on kind of quote unquote making our speaking voices is all emotional things that we need. and are things that we're trying to make ourselves. And she's decided how she speaks, because actually, and they were telling her speak higher. So she actually, where her voice is made to speak, it should be a little higher and more lilting. But something happened in the 80s and 90s where women took their voices way down.
No, well, but then the Kardashians happened, and everybody thinks that they think that's sexy
right here.
But y'all, when all these women are 70, they're going to have no voice.
Yeah, it's true.
They're all going to sound like Kathleen Turner.
Gotta take care of your voice. I think Kathleen Turner always had a very low voice.
She did, though. She did. So, okay. So, CJ, she's lost her voice, and they're like, okay, well, then the people are just kind of having separate conversations, and Chris and CJ have a conversation.
So, and Chris says, I'm just all focused on, before that, though, Chris is saying, I'm just with the guys. I'm super focused on CJ. And Casey calls him out, says, yeah, people have been telling me you've been throwing me under the bus and saying I was like being a peacock and stuff like that.
Were you looking at Grind on your phone? Because I literally just said that.
No, but I was looking at a message I think someone's getting.
From somebody sending you their dick
pic? Maybe.
I literally just said that.
Sorry. You did that. You did that earlier. You weren't listening to me, and you said something that I just said. I let it go, though, usually.
Gary, roll the tape. Anyway. So now Chris and CJ are talking.
Yes.
And y'all, and he sit there, and CJ literally's like, what do you have for me? Almost like this is
totally an informant.
Because y'all, you know why he's an informant? And I think Chris knows this. He can't be that dumb. If he does it, he's sitting. Y'all, CJ knows he's a fuckboy, and she knows she's not going to end up with him. Yeah. So she's going to play him along to be an informant, but she is never going to hook up with him. She might even kiss him down the road to get information, but she's not going to.
And he enjoys fucking stuff up.
Yeah.
Which is why he's there.
Yeah.
So later on, you guys, now I think we're at the point where Josh and Sarah are talking, and he says, can I kiss you?
We should say, hold on. We should say that Chris does tell her, he says,
Divish, yeah.
He says Divish was saying not things are nice about you. That's what he said.
And you can't read.
That you can't read, that you're high maintenance. And she says, true, I am high maintenance. And and that she doesn't know how to read. So yes, she's like, what? So that now we can talk about Sarah and Josh, who they're kind of sitting like on a bench. And he's like, I had a good time today. And meanwhile, y'all, this was a great way to cut it, because Josh is telling Sarah, he's like, I had a good time today. And Garrett, y'all know, who's trying to play Sarah, said, yeah, I don't see Sarah into Josh at all. I don't think that's going to work out. And then Josh looked at her and said, I was a little shy today, but can I give you a kiss? And she says, yes. And he's a good kisser.
And it's heated.
It is a good kiss.
And she's like, I really don't like them when guys ask me, but I liked it when he did it. So and I wrote down.
Do you think he's a nice guy?
I do.
I do. If he is not, standing ovation.
Yeah, I know he'd be really good. I wrote down, we still don't know half of these guys.
No, we don't. It's a lot of guys.
And the girls are saying something like, we still need all these guys to make an effort, and now it's going to be the eliminations. Nikki is visiting. I'm going to ask you a question.
Also, they play John Legend. Golly, they spent a lot of money on the show. Yeah.
Have you noticed how good Nikki looks, but the women look like they're wearing rags? Like, it's just the wardrobe choices are awful.
I think the styling they decided to go with on the women, they wanted to go with like boho chic meets beachy,
but it's so tacky beachy. It looks like British reality stars.
Whereas Nikki does look really good.
But the women, it's like you can be beachy without looking like
You're not going to be beachy. You're never going to be beachy.
You're never going to be beachy.
I could be beachy. I could be beachy.
But you know what I'm talking about? It always looks like they have rags falling off of them.
It's like Nikki they got her outfits at Nordstrom's, and they got the rest of the girls at Forever 21.
Yes. Where it just feels like a stylist who's like, yep, not slutty enough. Need to slut it up.
Because like the way I'm all about showing your body if you're confident in it and you want to, but like it barely covers like
it's not even
CJ's boobs.
I know what you're talking about
in a weird way.
It's not even that. There's a certain level of taste that none of them really have, and I don't think it's them doing it. I think people are addressing them at that.
Yet in the moments in like the confessionals, they all three look fantastic.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just it's what they're and maybe it's what they're being given, but they always look like all their clothes are just hanging off of them. There's there's like little like lacing and everything so you can see. It's like trying to drive all the men wild.
No, men like lacings because then those are things they can take off.
I guess.
It's why you wear. How often have you worn something where you were tied up to entice a man?
Every other Sunday. But there's something about when and like this elimination look that all of them have. They all look like they're wearing trash bags. It's like boho. I've been CJ says look good. She looks terrible. And whatever they're that like light blue thing made of scarves.
Doesn't look good.
It looks British. It looks British reality stars.
I get that. Let's get to that, actually. Let's get to the elimination rounds, everybody. So Nikki, CJ is like, Nikki, you can be my voice. Well, first of all, Nikki comes, I'm sorry, I should say Nikki comes by the not the grotto, but comes by the villa. The villa, thank you. And Nikki is basically, that's where Nakia, like you said, talked about some guys are playing safe and hiding in the background.
Yeah, so they're going to go for that now.
CJ mentions that she's going to thinking about letting go of Divish
and Chris, but she says, "Yeah, I'm gonna put Chris up so they think we're not working together.
So they think we're not working together. I think Chris knows all along he's not going home, right?
Yeah, has to.
Yeah, I don't think Chris was worried, especially by his reaction. Chris was not worried at all.
I don't think we saw that on tape. But
Chris is not a good actor.
No, he is.
What he's thinking.
He's a good villain, though.
It's all just distraction. You know what he's thinking, but all the guys are so distracted with all the different guys there and with the women, they're not noticing him just, I put my hand in here. Yeah. I put my hand in there.
I'm glad we have him. I'm glad he's in the game because he's making it more interesting. So also they have,
and you also want him to breed you like a lost lamb.
Yes. Stick it in. Wow.
So okay. So let's talk about the eliminations. Let's talk about that night.
So there basically CJ comes up. She's not talking. I personally loved Nikki's. She's doing everything in like she's reading the statement.
She did her voice. She did like a raspier voice of her.
And she's like, Divish, you're you basically talking about the thinking that she was high maintenance. And he's like, never said it. And not being able to read, and he's just very non-reactive.
He's very not
then
good.
Chris,
she put CJ.
She's like, you should either button your shirt or don't button it.
Yeah, she was like, she said, yeah, you're suspicious,
and that let him know he's okay.
She said, you say all the right things, but you don't button your shirt. She said, it makes me suspicious that you have FBOY all over it. Now, and CJ then even says in the moment, she's like, I think it's working. I think people think. Yeah. So now Nakia, she puts up Tariq and Israel. And so...
which are two... Sarah and... both Sarah and Nakia are choosing men who they don't think have made effort. That's where both of them are going this week.
That is Nakia's reason. She's like basically tells both of them, you haven't made any effort.
Yeah.
You're hanging back.
Same with Sarah. Yeah.
Sarah chooses Anthony and Charlie. And to Charlie, she said, Charlie, I didn't even know who you were. You've been here for like 3 days. To be honest.
Brutal.
This kind of made me respect Sarah a little because I think of her as kind of nice girl and wanting to be a people pleaser. And when she said this, I was like, okay, I can get on board with this.
What was it?
Was it Sarah?
Was it Finding Prince Charming that one of them said, and frankly, I forgot you were even here. What show was it?
I think it was Finding Prince Charming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that was a terrible show on Logo.
Terrible show. And so she says to Anthony, she says, Anthony, you've been flirting with all of us and like you're keeping options open. And
that's true. He has been. Yeah.
And y'all, Anthony plays a brilliant move when he says, first of all, the way he speaks, there's something kind of very sexual about just the way he speaks.
Yeah. And this is why you have shitty taste in men.
It is. And he even says, I tried to play dodgeball for you. And he said, and I feel like we look sexy together and you got them pretty feet. And hopefully I get to know more about you. Basically, y'all, he just let her know he's freaky deaky in bed and he will fuck your brains out.
I agree. That's his.
And if Poodle and I were Sarah, we would immediately said, safe, y'all, safe. That one's staying.
And y'all, he's an F-boy. He is an F-boy.
He is an F-boy.
Yeah. We are, so it's going to be, it looks like, and also Sarah chooses Anthony and Charlie. You said that, right?
Yeah.
You said that before? Okay. And Charlie, the French guy, we talked about that.
Yeah, Charlie's
so they decided who they're going to, so it's going to be Divij, Israel, and Charlie. That's who's going home.
So let's play the game. So we find out, Poodle.
Yeah.
Divij, did you think he was an F-boy?
Yes.
I did too. And y'all,
yep,
he was an F-boy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Israel, for you.
Total F-boy. I believe he was. And
that accent.
What?
Yep. F-boy.
He was. And then with
Charlie. I said nice guy.
I said nice guy too.
Yeah. Now, y'all, he says nice guy.
He's a nice guy. And we went, okay. And then.
Nikki, we have several hundreds of hours of footage where he is referring to himself as an F-boy and all the things that he has done to women.
Y'all.
I screamed.
This is why, y'all, nominate Nikki Glazer for an Emmy for a host. Because y'all.
These shows never do that, though.
She had to do all of this on the fly. Fly.
Yeah, she did it.
And she handled it like she went after him.
This was great.
She's like, yeah, we have 3 casting tapes where you're admitting you're an F-boy. And
it's like, but no, I'm a nice guy. That was me in a former life, and now because I had the death of I had the death of a parent or something like that. My mother died.
Well, he gets to that later.
Vulnerability bombing.
Yeah. Remember when you told us that a woman threw a drink in your face at a restaurant because you were sleeping with her best friend?
And right next to you, and then you realize he's like, yes, but I am a nice guy now.
They cut to the footage of him saying his cats. And then she said, and remember when you said that you were just playing a game and that this is all an elaborate game for you?
And I wrote down the tea, the evidence, all of it, the receipts. I'm living.
And he says, I'm a nice guy. And she's like, well, yeah, I wish you well.
She's
but
like,
look,
she's like, maybe we were misguided. And she's even saying,
I'm sorry, we were misled. She totally.
And y'all, Mark's face back there, Mr. Coat is like, oh my god.
This is more dramatic than that Real Life of Atlanta housewife dinner.
Anyway, so y'all, they all go away. And it looks like Charlie is not even participate in the show anymore. He just quits the show.
He quits the show because he's like, and that's where he says, I was an F-boy, but my mother died.
But I am not anymore.
And y'all, that might be true, but the problem is he was cast in his show and he has a part to play in the show. and he doesn't want to play the part.
This is
like he had one job.
This is the kind of person who will get called difficult and never work again.
Yeah,
that's exactly what this is.
Because it really, I mean, it made for great drama. But y'all, like they cast him as if y'all, if Poodle or I ever get like, okay, I went in for. This is years ago. Leanne Rimes and Eddie Cibrian had their. I guess they had a reality show. I think it actually aired
on CMT. I think.
And y'all, because a lot of these are cast, and so they wanted me to play their. They wanted me to play their assistant, and they wanted their gay assistant, but they wanted me to be really bitchy gay. Like they wanted me to be a poodle when I'm a Maddie, and I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't be that for them because I just didn't want to be that. I didn't want to be that type of person on TV. But this would be like if I said, sure, and I auditioned and I did it.
And then you wouldn't do it.
And then we went on set and I went, I'm a nice guy. No, you guys, the time that producers and casting and all these people put into this stupid guy and then he just shits on their work. It's gross.
This was a moment where you just saw the veil of reality TV crumble. Yes. And I was just like, it was so awesome.
Have you ever seen something like this on reality TV?
No. It
was so good.
Anyway, so he obviously walks into the jungle, never to be heard from again. And so, but Davish and Israel are going towards Limbro. And the two lovers are just waving to them. Hey, want to come watch Housewives?
And Garrett's like, why are there only two people? I don't know. Pull out your cock. Okay, Andrew.
And y'all.
And meanwhile, Peter
is so happy to see any of them.
Who knew? Peter, the Tim Conway of reality television theater. He's so funny.
He's built a curl bar. He's probably made his own protein powder out of coconut milk. He's got a pillow made up of hay.
Y'all, I fucking love this guy.
I'm totally into this concept. I can't wait till Limbro starts its own, like, I can't wait till they start like their own like government systems and it turns into Lord of the Flies real quick.
Lord of the Limbro. I loved it. This show is good. I cannot be more excited to watch episode 3.
I enjoy the show.
Yeah, we really like it.
I had misgivings with episode 1. I think they're going to hit their stride next episode. I still, the only problems I have are I still don't know the rules. I still don't completely know the rules.
I think it's really telling us, I think it's kind of saying the rules really aren't that important anyway to them in a way.
Yeah.
Which is hard because that so much of these shows, that
you live and die by them. Yeah.
You live and die, but I think they're kind of giving the birth to all that.
Yeah, but you need a framework for people to follow. And if you change things up too much, people will get confused.
They will. We'll see if they do that or not.
That's the show, y'all.
That's the show. Y'all, you can go to realitygatespodcast.com and see all of our stuff we got going on. You can find Poodle on Cameo.
Yes.
You can find us on Instagram, Reality Gates Podcast. You can see my reaction to watching this second episode. I was very, very excited, even though I look crazy. My hair was askew. I've had 3 hours. I looked crazy. That's okay. Y'all, what's the song? Oh, yeah, I remember.
Wait, isn't it? And remember, y'all, we'll see you next time. FBOY. F off.
No, y'all, we'll see you next time. And remember, if you live in the Los Angeles area and you're an F-boy, call us.
F
call
me.
Us. You said F call us.
No, F me.
We just fucked up the ending to
the
show.
F me.
That was it. If you live in the Los Angeles area and you're an F-boy, come F me.
Come F me. That's it.
Boy, that was really work.
I'm exhausted.